I'm Mattia Moore. This is 10 Minutes to Inspire. We are here at Tech.Emotion and 10 Minutes to Inspire, the podcast produced by Emotion Network. We're really happy and honored to have here Jimmy Spithill, that is the co-owner and CEO of SailGP Italy. And, everyone remembers about him as the driver for 3 campaigns of Luna Rossa. So like in some way coming from Sydney, Australia, very connected to Milan and to Italy. And now with this new endeavor and new challenge done with under the Italian flag, let's say. So welcome, Jimmy, to be with us today.
Grazie Mattia, piacere. It's fantastic to be here. It's a really exciting conference. You've got some amazing speakers, and it was good to actually go and listen to a few.
No, thank you so much. No, it'll be lovely to know more about you. And so in this podcast, it's called 10 Minutes to Inspire. I want to start from, stories like yours, to inspire people and to educate and entertain people at the same time. So looking at your career, and your life, which is the endeavor that best defines you, who you are now?
Well, I think it was really my environment really created where I am today. And that is, I grew up in the national park in Australia. The key point was you could only get there by boat. So it was like being on a little island. I had to go to school by boat to get to the mainland, to the shops, anywhere. It was a way of life. And naturally, as a kid, when you came home from school, you would go onto the water.
Yeah.
So, that really kind of set my love for the ocean, my love for sailing, and ultimately that's what gave me independence, because unless I could learn how to be on the ocean or to operate a boat, I couldn't leave the house.
Okay, of course. It's like it's been normal and easy for you to
a way of life.
Yeah. And what has been, something that gave you most inspiration in your life?
I think sport for me. Because I think you can learn so many lessons from sport, because you are guaranteed to face adversity, to have some tough races. I really enjoy working in teams, and that's when you really see those important lessons that you learn. Never give up. What do you do when things are not going your way? How do you respond? And individually, what I've experienced, the most important lessons you learn are usually from tough times or from making a mistake. And then you can apply that in business or in your own personal life.
So today at Tech.Emotion, we talk about the symphony of the ecosystem. So how is important to work in an ecosystem way to face the big challenges that the future has in these years. And ecosystem is made by nodes. So in which node you are? Where do you see yourself?
Well, right now, it's just such a fascinating time, because with the Red Bull SailGP Italy team, I really got to start that from scratch. So I had to go and put the individual pieces in terms of the athletes and the team that will go out and race on the water. And then at the same time to pull together an investment group and partners that will help us work together off the water. So that entire ecosystem now that supports the team, fundamentally what I've learned is always hire good people.
That's so important.
It's just so important. And I can tell you, in a sporting team, if I really look at all of the successful teams that I've been a part of, it's always hiring people better than me and put them in the role that you hired them. Don't micromanage them. Let them do why you hired them. Let them perform the skill and their skill set. And that's such an important part in the ecosystem. If you try and manage everything, I've never seen that work. And so, but it's also part of the fun. I mean, putting that together is always such a rewarding process, because you have a plan, but there's always a few surprises along the way, and you have to be agile and you have to adapt.
And and the sport and team sports are even more, ecosystem inside an ecosystem. And in this, since it's very important for us in these times to talk about the impact of our actions on the world and on the future, which is the positive impact that you think that you are having also to what you're doing now, for the society?
Well, one of the great things about SailGP is really using sport as a vehicle to get a message across. SailGP, one of our strong pillars is we are powered by nature. So our environment is very, very important to us. naturally as sailors. But again, for SailGP, it's really about going out and trying to get that message out there in terms of sustainability. We get to visit some of the most incredible harbours and waterways all around the world in this global circuit. So to be able to do that, to have a positive impact, inspire the next generation, but also the local communities in these different territories, is it's a real honour to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, and you're traveling in an amazing place all the time, and you're living, even for a few days. I think it's amazing what you're seeing there. And in business, but also in sport, I mean, we all know that there are many failures and many difficulties coming, every day, or unfortunately very often. So, which are the failures that most impacted on you, and how you face it?
I think early on, most of the failures I was focusing on was as an athlete, and the mistakes I was making on the sporting field, because I never really thought much about the victories, or very quickly celebrated the victories, but then very quickly was thinking about the next race. The losses and the mistakes on the field still haunt me today. And I think that's natural, because you want to learn the lesson, and you certainly don't like making the same mistake twice, because the worst thing for me would be letting down my teammates. Yeah. And so I think when you create a culture and an atmosphere where everyone is a little bit in fear of letting down their teammates, and they're able to put the team and the purpose ahead of their own individual goals, then you have something powerful and something quite special.
And, the most important lesson that you learn?
Most important lesson I've learned is never give up in everything. Look, the reality is, in life, things are going to happen that are not part of your plan, and you're going to get a surprise here and there. In sport, it's very normal. Yeah. You can't control what your competitors do, but even in life. And I think that ability to embrace the challenge, to no matter how tough the obstacle or how high that mountain could be to climb, you just one foot in front of the other, and you can get there. But if you think too much about the future or how overwhelming the challenge may be, that to me is not a great way to solve the problem. It's okay, let's stop, take a breath, think about it, and get going. And
that's a lesson for many startups and entrepreneurs also here. I mean, to listen, because it's part of the business life too. And in the wonderful process that you had in your life, if you meet yourself 20 years ago, which advice would you give yourself?
I'd say talk less and listen more.
That's an advice for everybody, not only for you.
I think also, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't let's put it this way, don't do something because you're afraid of failure. No, just do it. And even if it doesn't work, you're going to learn something one way or another. But I think the big mistake is to not do anything.
Yeah. And wait, wait for someone else doing something. Yeah. And what gets you out of bed in the morning?
I think just being challenged every day. And that's why, from an athletic point of view, that was very motivating. Now, stepping into the ownership and running of the team, it's uncomfortable. Yeah. But that's what was always an appeal to me, was trying to get comfortable being uncomfortable. That going outside of your comfort zone and challenging yourself, and constantly having progression and growth, and not being afraid to try something new.
Yeah. You are surrounded by talents, in every, probably in sport, but also in life. Tell us, which is your talent, your best talent?
I think my best talent is really being surrounded by amazing people. I mean, if I look back to when I started as a child, I was just fortunate that I just happened to be the youngest in a lot of those cases. So I always had great mentors and very experienced people, and people that were better than me. And so that forced me to have to work quite hard just to try and get close to their level. And even today, I find myself in a position where I'm surrounded by some amazing athletes on the water, some amazing partners off the water, ashore, and it's just such an incredible environment to learn.
Here, and this is the last question. 10 minutes are not too long, and emotion network and with the Tech.Emotion brand, we always use the word emotion as very important in our life, for our values to be shared, and in our work. Which is the emotions that drives your life?
I think it's passion, because it's something, it's so important. You have to be doing it for a reason. As you said, you have to get up in the morning and you just can't wait to do it. At the end of the evening when you come home, it's got to be, it's not a job. It's got to be something that's really inside, that kind of burns inside. And when you can find people that share that same passion and that same emotion, man, can be one of the most rewarding experiences in your life.
And also let you be every day satisfied with what you're doing. And for all of us, and we're lucky to follow our passion, our job. I think it's a great luck, it's a great honor, but it's also something that we try to inspire others to follow in this moment particularly. So
definitely.
So thank you so much, Jimmy. Our time is over, but really thank you for being here today and on 10 Minutes to Inspire, produced by Emotion Network. So thank you so much to Jimmy Spithill.
Piacere.
Grazie.